Hello everyone. Welcome to BYK Book Summary. I am Amin. Here we decode the inspiring journey, mental warfare, and empire building life lesson of the world's greatest legend. Today topics and their biggest secret are right on your screen. Let's dive in with my AI co-host.
You know, the world has plenty of billionaires, but how many of them command the kind of universal respect that Ratan Tata did? When the tributes poured in, they weren't just for a powerful industrialist. They were for a man who was celebrated for his profound humanity. So today, we're going to explore the story of a leader who built a global empire, but whose true legacy, well, it's measured in character, not just capital. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The world's admiration wasn't about a balance sheet. It was for the man himself. So, how did someone born into such incredible privilege become this global symbol of humility and integrity? Let's dive in and find out. Ratan Tata's story doesn't really start in a boardroom. It starts in a childhood marked by an unexpected kind of loneliness. Yeah, he was born into India's most famous industrial dynasty, but his early life was far from a fairy tale. And it was this period, this quiet time, that really forged the leader he would one day become. He was only 10 when his parents separated, and he ended up being raised by his grandmother. That solitude, it taught him how to rely on himself. He learned emotional discipline, how to think independently, and these are qualities that would become the absolute bedrock of his leadership style. So after his education abroad, he came back to India, ready to join the family business, but he was going to do it his way. And this is where we get the first real glimpse of his unique character. He's got this Ivy League degree in architecture from Cornell. I mean, he could have walked into any corner office he wanted. But instead, he insisted on starting at the very bottom, on the scorching hot shop floor of Tata Steel, shoveling limestone. He just got it. He understood a fundamental truth. To lead, you first have to learn what it's like to serve. So, fast forward to 1991. Ratan Tata takes the top job as chairman of the Tata Group. But his biggest challenge wasn't coming from competitors on the outside. It was coming from within his own company. And this was the beginning of his quiet but absolutely radical transformation of a corporate empire. The resistance was immediate. I mean, you had these powerful, long-serving executives who just doubted this quiet, unassuming new leader. They openly questioned his authority, and it led to a bunch of high-profile people leaving because they just refused to get on board with his vision. So what did he do? Instead of fighting fire with fire, he chose patience. He completely avoided public fights and never, ever named his critics in the press. He just worked methodically, restructuring the company quietly, deliberately, turning this loose collection of businesses into a cohesive global force. His greatest strength was his restraint. Okay, so once the foundation was set and the house was in order, Ratan Tata did something extraordinary. He put the Tata Group, and really by extension India itself, onto the global stage through a series of incredibly bold and audacious acquisitions. It all started with iconic brands like Britain's Tetley tea. Then came these massive industrial plays like Daewoo Trucks and the European steel giant Chorus. But the move that truly captured the world's imagination, well, that involved two of Britain's most famous car brands. Just the Chorus steel deal alone was worth a staggering $12 billion. It was a move that absolutely stunned the business world. It was a signal that an Indian company was now a major global force to be reckoned with. But an even more symbolic purchase was just around the corner. Yep, in 2008, Tata bought Jaguar Land Rover from Ford for $2.3 billion. And at the time, believe me, JLR was seen as a struggling asset, almost a burden, even for a giant like Ford. This reported quote really says it all about the attitude at the time. Ford executives were apparently pretty dismissive, basically suggesting they were doing Tata a favor. The irony, of course, is that under his leadership, Jaguar Land Rover was completely turned around and became one of the crown jewels of the entire Tata empire. But here's the thing. Even as he was making these massive global moves, Ratan Tata was driven by a much more personal vision. And this, right here, reveals the incredible duality of his leadership. This huge global ambition, perfectly balanced by a deeply local, human-centric dream. This slide captures that duality perfectly. On one hand, you have him acquiring these global luxury icons like Jaguar Land Rover, and on the other, he's pouring his energy into the Tata Nano, the one-lock car, which wasn't designed for big profits, but for the safety of ordinary Indian families. Commercially, the Nano was a huge risk, and, well, ultimately it was a financial failure. So why? Why did he pursue it with so much passion? The answer really gets to the very core of his character. See, his motivation wasn't a market analysis from some consulting firm. It was a simple human observation. He saw a family of 4 all huddled together on a single scooter in the pouring rain. And in that moment, he decided they deserved something safer. The Nano was a project born from empathy, not from a spreadsheet. And that right there brings us to his ultimate legacy. Because more than the acquisitions or the revenues, Ratan Tata's lasting impact is defined by this deep-seated compassion and an absolutely unwavering commitment to giving back. Get this, a massive 66% of the parent company, Tata Sons, is owned by charitable trusts. So what does that mean? It means the majority of profits from this colossal empire don't go to shareholders. They flow directly into funding education, healthcare, and development all across India. The business itself is literally an engine for philanthropy. And his compassion was always deeply personal. It wasn't for show. When terrorists attacked Mumbai in 2008, devastating the Tata-owned Taj Hotel, his response wasn't a press conference. He personally visited the family of every single employee affected by that tragedy. No cameras, no PR, just quiet, human support. Ratan Tata's life offers a really powerful answer to this question, doesn't it? He proved that what you build and how you build it are completely inseparable. He showed the world that you can build a global empire with humility, that you can lead with quiet strength, and that true wealth isn't what you accumulate. It's the character you build and the lives you touch along the way.
So, friends, that was the complete breakdown. Make sure to take a screenshot of this growth gift, this infographic, so this lesson stay with you. If you want to learn from legends every single day, join our community. I am Amin. Always remember, read more, think deeper. Let me know in the comments who we should cover next. See you in next episode.